Looking at some problems from the final exam review for MAT 0028. Problem 22 is a factor problem. It is 4 terms, so we're going to try factoring by grouping. So what we're going to do is split the problem up and make 2 groups out of it. And then in each group we're going to do GCF. So we're just going to work on the first part. Our common factor in there, we have a 2. And we have an x squared. So GCF, one set of parentheses to get back just to that piece. So for the first term, we're good with the 2. We have x squared, but we'd like x cubed, so we're missing an x. In the second piece, we have 2. We'd like a negative 6, so we're going to need a minus 3. We're good with the x squared. Now we leave that part and we go to the second group. In this group, we look for a GCF. So we can take out a 5. 5 is common, and we're going to take a positive 5. Right. Make your parentheses, and then try to get back there to that group. So we have 5, we want 5x. We're missing an x. For the next part, we have the 5. We want a negative 15, so you would need to multiply by a negative 3. Right, now we look at the whole thing, and what we hoped for is that we get a common binomial, which we did get. Now, this is actually the GCF for the entire problem. So we can take it out, x minus 3, and to get back just to the previous line, we are missing, for the first term, the 2x squared, and for the second term, we have the x minus 3, we're missing the plus 5. This was a multiple choice question, so now we look at the responses, and actually it is going to be A. When we look, the choice B has an exponent of 2. You only want one copy of this. It's common, so you only want one copy. The signs are wrong in choice C, and choice D tries to do something else there. So A is the correct choice. 22B is also a problem that will be factored by grouping. Your clue is because it has 4 terms. So we'll break it into groups. And then we will look for a GCF. So in the first group, for the numbers, we have a common factor of 4. For the A's, we have a common factor of A, and X is not common, so we can't take it outside. To get back there, we're missing an X. And to get back to the second term, you have 4, you want a 12. Just divide it in. It goes 3 times. We have the A on the outside. Now, we'll leave that group and go to the next group. One clue, because this starts off with negative, is you're going to have a negative GCF. So we'll take a negative. We can take a factor of 7 and a factor of b. We cannot take x because the last term does not have x. Make your parentheses to get back there. For the first term, we have the negative 7 and the b. We're missing the x. For the second term, you have negative 7, you want negative 21. So just divide. You're missing a factor of 3. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. You have the b outside, so you don't need to put it inside. Right. Now we look at the whole problem, and what we hope happened is that we get a common binomial. It is now the GCF for the whole problem, and it can come out x plus 3. To get back to that line, we're missing 4a minus 7b. This problem was also multiple choice, so let's look at the responses. We're looking for an x plus 3 and a 4a minus 7b. This one is actually also going to be A. Now that just happened. That's not the way it always goes. Choice B has an exponent of 2. You don't even have 2 copies of the 4a minus 7b, so that one makes no sense. The signs are wrong. In C, it has x minus 3, and the last one, there are more issues there. So A is the correct choice. 23, we're asked to identify a factor of the trinomial below. So first we actually have to factor it ourselves. This is going to be a trial and error problem. We first look at it and we would try GCF. There is no GCF in this problem. And then we would say, okay, we have three terms, a trinomial. It does have a number in front. It is not a perfect square trinomial. So that brings us down to our only choice, trial and error. So we can go ahead and set up our two sets of parentheses. Remember, it is like a backwards FOIL. We can do our signs. Negative at the end, multiplying to get a negative, you have to have one of each. So a plus and a minus. And then we'll work on our pieces. So first for the 2, we will do 2 and 1. And that will go in the first spots, and we'll split the x's. You don't have to write the 1 in front of the x. Right? On the end, we're multiplying to get 18. So we need to make that list. 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, and then they're all going to flip over because the order matters when you have a number in the front. So we're going to work. It's going to be some combination out of here if it works at all. We do have the one shortcut of no common factor in the same set of parentheses, and it's going to be in the first parentheses. Things with a common factor of 2 in the first position are going to get kicked out. So it actually will cut your list down. The 2 and 9 will not work. It would put a 2 in with the 2. They would have a GCF. If there's a GCF, it would have been in the whole problem. Right? The 6 and 3. 6 in with 2 would have a GCF of 2. And 18 and 1. 18 in with 2 would have a GCF of 2. So those we're going to throw away. So we have 3 things left to try. I'm going to start with the 9 and 2. So I'm just going to put those in and try them. And by try them, I mean check outside and inside 2 pieces of your foil to see if you get the right middle. So on the outside, I'm getting minus 4x. Inside plus 9x, which gives me 5x. We're trying to get to minus 9. So no, this did not work. I need to go to the next choice. So keep your 2x, your x, keep your signs. And now I'm going to try 3 and 6. Right? I do my check again, outside and inside. On the outside, I'm multiplying, I get a minus 12x. Inside, plus 3x gives a minus 9x. And this is the correct choice. So this is my answer to it. Now I have to look through the choices that I was given. In the choices, they're only going to give me one of the parentheses. So we look through them. We can look for a 2x plus 3. That's not in any of them. So we will look for an x minus 6. And it is going to be choice B. Problem 23b is also going to be a trial and error problem. It just says identify a factor of the trinomial below. That means we have to factor it. Our first choice would be try GCF. There is no GCF. Second, we would look and see there are 3 terms in the problem. 3 terms says it's a trinomial. You do it like the backwards FOIL with the 2 sets of parentheses. There is a number in front, so it's not the nice kind. And it is not a perfect square trinomial. These are not squares. So trial and error it is. We'll do our 2 sets of parentheses. And we'll do our signs. Looking at the end, whenever it's negative, you're going to have different signs. So we'll put those in. This time we have an extra choice on the first term. To get 6, we can try 6 and 1, or we can try 3 and 2. We don't have to do both orders on both sides. So on this left-hand side, we'll do just one order. On the other side, we're going to multiply to get a 5. So we can try 1 and 5 or 5 and 1. So we have 4 possibilities altogether. I'm going to start with the 3 and 2. So those go in the first positions, and we're splitting the x. And we'll try a 1 and 5. So we're going to check 2 pieces of the foil for our check, outside and inside. So we're multiplying. We have minus 15x on the outside, plus 2x gives a minus 13x. That did not work. I'm trying to get to 7. So I will go on to the next choice. I want to use up the 3 and 2. So I will try 5 and 1. I will check again. So I have a minus 3x on the outside, a plus 10x on the inside, gives me a 7x. This one almost works. The only thing wrong with it is the sign. We wanted negative 7x, we're getting positive 7x. To fix that, all you have to do is switch the signs in your answer. So whichever one was plus should have been minus, and whichever one's minus should have been plus. So let's rewrite it with the right sign. So 3x minus 5 and 2x plus 1. We'll double check outside 3x, inside minus 10x gives a minus 7x, and that is the correct middle term. And then we can look at our choices. So we have a 3x minus 5 and a 2x plus 1. We'll look for those. And actually A has our 3x minus 5. So this is going to be our choice. Let's make sure none of the others work. Only one should work. 2x minus 1, they're trying to trip you up on the signs there. 3x plus 1, you have the wrong pieces. 3x plus 5, they're trying to catch you on the signs. So A is the correct choice.